Hey guys, it's January 27, 2016. I've officially been cutting now for 4 weeks. I want to talk to you guys about carb cycling, my experience with it, and show you guys why it could be a dieting protocol that you guys should consider if you've hit a plateau with your fat loss or you're just not losing weight as fast as you'd like. I'll briefly cover what I mean by plateau in the next several minutes. But before I dive into the specifics of carb cycling, I do want to say that cycling and carb cycling really just means the manipulation of carbs throughout the week. That's it. You don't really need to worry about fats. You don't need to really worry about carbs. Personally, I keep those constant. I know that some people like to play around with those. Some people like to do like lower fats on their high carb days, slightly higher fats on their low carb days. But to me, I just like to keep things simple, and I just don't really mess with those. What you'll be benefiting from is the high carb day in terms of body composition and revving up your metabolism. One thing to note is that before you can really consider carb cycling, you need to kind of have already an expertise in macro tracking, bulking, cutting, maintaining, so you have something to reference when you're structuring your carb cycling program. Next thing to determine is the frequency and the amount. How often you decide to have a high carb day really just depends on your urgency to lose fat and how lean you already are. Right now, for instance, I'm refeeding twice a week because I'm already pretty lean. I'm pretty happy with how that's going, and I'm just generally having pretty good results with twice a week. So you can have low days, medium days, high days throughout the week, but the one variable that must be constant, and this is with any fat loss diet, is that at the end of the week you must be in a caloric deficit so that you're losing weight. Like I said, this is the same across any type of diet concerning fat loss. I'm going to use myself to further illustrate what I mean by this and how this cut differs from a typical caloric deficit construct. So this past off season, I reverse dieted and capped my macros off at 60 grams of fat, 400 grams of carbs, 170 grams of protein, which equates to 2,820 calories a day or 19,740 calories a week. And no, I didn't just do all that math in my head. I had some playing room. I ultimately decided that my low carb days would be 50% of my carbs and my high carb days would be 150% of my carbs. So that came out to 200 grams of carbs and 600 grams of carbs respectively. As far as the percentages of how low should your low day be or how high should your high day be is really up to you. What I've noticed with my 600 grams of carbs and 60 grams of fat is that I'm tending to eat kind of like bland carbs, I guess I'll say. A lot of sweet potatoes, a lot of quinoa, and I love all those things. But I could have done something like 235 grams of carbs for my low day and 500 grams of carbs for my high day. And maybe I could be dealing with tastier carbs per se. It really all just depends on how you want to structure it. So it gives you some like space to play around with numbers. And like I said, I always keep my fats and my proteins the same. I don't really think I need to mess with those, so I just don't bother. If all of that was a little too confusing to understand, I know I kind of just threw a bunch of numbers at you guys. I did jot all of this down, and maybe that'll help clarify some of the things I was just talking about. As you saw, with this dieting structure, I'm eating 2,400 calories less per week, which, like some of you guys know, 3,500 calories equates to a pound of fat. I'm pretty content with this speed of fat loss. I'm not really trying to lose weight too quickly. I'm really more concerned with muscle retention and maintaining my metabolic capacity. So I'm pretty much going to keep that deficit at a minimal. So why is all of this helpful? Why should you even bother putting together this initially very intimidating carb cycling routine? Well, first of all, it will help you break through a plateau. A plateau tends to happen where you're consistently in a deficit, and at some point, yeah, you keep losing weight, but your metabolism also slows down. You use carb cycling so that your low days promote the use of fat to become fuel, and the high carb days serve as a way to kickstart or reignite your metabolism and keep you going for the next couple of days up until your next carb day. And these next couple of days is when your body is burning fat at an accelerated rate. And this happens through all sorts of reasons, because like I said, your body's using fat, your insulin levels are low. Aside from fat loss, structuring high carb days around lagging muscle groups is also a really, really good idea. For instance, or also when you have a particular body part that you kind of really don't want to work out, or it's always like hard for some reason. For me, that's always legs. And I know some of you guys out there can relate with me. I always work out in the morning. So I always put my high carb days on the day before my workout. So it gives my body time to refill my glycogens, and I'm ready to hit that workout with full intensity. If you're working out in the afternoon or at night, then you really can just have your high carb days on that day, and it should be fine. One thing to keep in mind with carb cycling that I think is extremely important is that on your high carb days, or rather following your high carb days, you will be fuller, you will be holding water, and if you step on the scale, you will weigh more. So it's important to realize that this is just temporary and things will go back to normal within the next day or two. So don't be alarmed. I think that about covers everything that I wanted to touch upon. If you guys have any questions regarding carb cycling, just leave me a question. I'll definitely be giving you guys an answer on that. I hope you guys found this video informative, and I want to thank all of you guys for watching it.